Hey friend, you're listening to Pivot with Purpose. This is my show where I pivoted from shit I'm 30, where I was dreading turning 30. I had a failed marriage, failed engagement after that, and I don't have a relationship with my immediate family. But through it all, I came out the other side with a thriving business, an unexpected radio morning show of my own, and a platform where I can reach millions of people and help them walk in their truth. I am now celebrating every step of my journey into continuously finding my purpose, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sometimes this journey looks like shit, and it probably sounds even worse, but it's still our journey, and I'm learning right along with you to enjoy it. There's always a rainbow after the rain falls. Now, if you need advice in pivoting in any aspect of your life, relationships, career, spirituality, send your questions or story to askcarlawilmaris@gmail.com or shoot me a DM at Carla Wilmaris. Now, let's start the show. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Pivot with Purpose. This week, actually, you're going to get a rewind episode. We're going to go take it back, way back. But if you're listening to this, it's because I actually have a surprise coming up in a couple of months. So this is the first clue. Years back, I started this podcast called Shit I'm 30 Podcast before it was Pivot. And I'm going to bring you back some of those episodes so you can get a feel of how audio changed, how I changed as a person, how my friends might have changed as people. So many things change, right? And we change with purpose. At the time, you know, I was 30, I was stressed out, or turning 30 in my early 30s. And then so many things happened. So some of these episodes, some wasn't even thought of. I hope you enjoy this rewind episode. I'm going to give you a few of these for the next couple of weeks. And stay tuned to all the new ones because you're going to love what I'm going to tell you about or the surprise we're going to give you in a couple of months.
Hey, you guys. Welcome back to
Shit, I'm 30. This is our 8th episode.
Oh my God, the little baby is growing so fast.
She is. She's crawling.
Aww.
Well, maybe she more like turned over.
Yeah, and tooted up.
In order to be shut on 30, she got to toot it a little bit.
She got to toot it.
Oh my goodness, how have you been, Dex? I feel like I literally haven't seen you in like 2 weeks.
We haven't seen me in 2 weeks. And I missed you guys.
I did. I missed the recording.
I know.
I didn't miss work, but I missed recording.
Right. And I feel like there's so much stuff that's been going on that we need to talk about.
A lot.
Yes.
Like, I had a blast in Cali.
You did?
I did.
Yeah, you did. I had a blast watching you in Cali.
And then I had a blast watching you wherever the hell you were.
I was in Miami, South Beach.
Child, we wouldn't know because you didn't tag where you were.
I didn't tag. Oh, I never tag where I am, do I?
No, you don't. But it's okay.
I'm so bad at social media.
Keep the mystery going, baby. It's okay. I'll let it all hang out. You keep them guessing. It's totally fine.
That is so funny.
I know. So today on our 8th episode, I think I'm going to throw a party when it's number 10.
Right. Well, we're throwing a party this weekend. It's my dog's birthday.
Hey.
Carla's going to be 30-something this weekend.
Girl, did you see my face?
Yes, she was like...
I was about to hit stop and delete if you put that number on there.
Yeah, you're going to be 30-something this weekend.
Forever 30-something. Another Cinco de Mayo, another birthday.
Cinco de Carla.
Cinco de Carla, yes ma'am.
But I'm so excited for today's episode.
I am too. So we have a guest with us today. We have a little Spanish mommy with us. Her name is Christina.
Hi, guys. Christina from Running on Crazy.
Yes. So I found Christina through her sister. I met her sister. But today's episode, it's going to revolve around body shaming. Was it body shaming?
Body image, body shaming. Loving yourself. All things body. All things self-esteem. Body. Yeah.
Especially for us now in our 30s, things are getting a little bit harder to keep tight. Not for Dex.
I'm going to say things are dropping that should not be dropping.
Exactly.
Right. So just how society has kept us and is telling us you don't look good enough, or you need to do A, B, and C, or get surgery or not get surgery, or you're too skinny, or you're too big, or your face is not the way it should be. Your lips should be bigger. So everything that has to do with body image.
Right. And the reason that we wanted to have Christina on is because she has a very special story to share about her journey to self-love and how she continues, and how she continues to work on that. So just like, kind of get into it. So Christina has an eating disorder. Have you been actually diagnosed with something specifically, or?
You mean just with body image? Yes.
Yes.
Altogether, a lot. No. Yes, about 5 years ago, a little bit more than that, I was clinically diagnosed with bulimia.
Okay.
And what is bulimia?
What is bulimia for those who don't know?
So bulimia is essentially anything that I ate, I would find a way to purge it out. So be it throwing up, being over-exercising, being laxatives, any way that I could just eliminate all the caloric intake in my body, I would figure it out.
Everything?
Yes, it got to a point that I was probably throwing up about 12 times a day.
Wow.
Yep.
That is insane. And this started when you were how old?
I was 16. I had just 16, 17. It was my freshman year of college. Like, I literally remember, like, it was yesterday, the first day that I tried to make myself throw up.
Do you remember why?
What triggered? Yeah. Do you remember what triggered it?
In high school and through middle school, and I was always like the chubby girl.
Mm-hmm.
I was always short and chubby, and all my friends looked like freaking Pocahontas, and here I am looking like Miko. I don't know. Like, I was like,
that's a little retro.
Like, I was a mess. So when prom came, like time for prom, I'm like, no, I have to lose weight. So I decided to join Jenny Craig.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost some weight, and I looked like I lost some weight, and I'm never gonna forget a girl in my class that looked at me and told me, "Oh, you've lost all this weight, but don't worry, because you're meant to be fat, so you're just gonna gain it all back."
Are you serious?
Oh,
I wish I was, but no. So fast forward to my freshman year of college. You know how we all sometimes gain that freshman 15?
Yeah.
For me, honestly, it was just like the freshman 5. And as soon as I saw that scale that started to go up, I lost it. I was like, I cannot do this. I cannot gain weight. I cannot be fat again.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially from that day, I started first trying to restrict, but I'm Puerto Rican. I love food too much, so that didn't
So
work.
that means you were throwing up some good ass rice and beans.
Yup, everything.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff. Everything you can imagine.
Did you see someone else that had been going through
like,
that? How did you learn to do it?
Honestly, no. Like, it was just in my brain. Like, I knew that I guess, like, I knew I wasn't going to stop eating, because I like food, but I was like, it can't stay inside of me. And I can remember still, like, at home trying to make myself throw up, but I wasn't able to. I used to not be able to throw up. Like, I never, like, even when I was sick, I could never throw up. And I just kept trying and trying and trying.
With your finger?
Yep. I tried with my finger. I tried with the back of toothbrushes. Like, I tried, like, everything. And until one day, I actually remember we were in a family vacation in New York. And I remember to this day, I was in a gyro shop. I finished my gyro. I went to the bathroom and I was able to throw up. And
oh my gosh,
that was that.
From there, it just kept happening.
Mm-hmm.
So did you keep it a secret?
Oh, 100%.
For how long?
So by the age of 18, my best friend, we went to college together, and she actually caught me in the bathroom.
Tell us about that.
So funny thing is, she didn't tell me she caught me. Like, I didn't see her. We were at lunch. I went to the bathroom, and I guess she followed me, and she heard me. So then my father actually works in the college I went to. So my friend just went to my dad's office to tell him. So I got called into the office, like if it was the principal, but it was my dad. And side note, he's a clinical psychologist. Ooh. So I remember that he asked me, and all I did was I started crying. And he thought that just by showing me a video, like, he literally sat me down and made me see a video of, like, the causes of bulimia and, like, what it can do to your body and mental health and everything. And I watched it, and he goes, "You're gonna go to a therapist." I'm like, okay. So I started seeing a therapist that lasted like 2 months. And I told him that I was fine. I was like, you know what, Dad? You're right. I'm just gonna stop. And from there, I kept it a secret till I was 24 years old.
So the initial therapy did not help?
Oh, no, not at all.
So you were throwing up while going to therapy?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like it was like the therapist, or just that you weren't ready to stop?
I wasn't ready. I was like, for me, my brain, I was indestructible. I was like, whatever. This is giving me the results that I want. Like, I lost in a matter of like 2 months, almost 40 pounds.
Get out.
Whoa. Listen.
Oh my gosh.
And sometimes, and I know I'm guilty of this, and I've joked about it. And I joke sometimes like I should just throw up my food, or if I could throw up, I could lose it just 30 days, get bulimia. But it's not just a thing that you can start and then stop.
Yeah. Not at all.
Because I like to watch,
especially when you see those results, right? Like I could see how, like, if you really were struggling to lose weight the right way, right, and then you go and do that and you lose 40 pounds in 2 months, like I could see how that could be like addicting. Yeah.
It was a quick result that got me to where I wanted to. And with that, with like losing weight, what came after that was like, so with bulimia, the biggest thing is that is a lot harder for you to see somebody and know that they're bulimic. Like you can see a girl that's that has anorexia, which is when you just don't eat at all. And that is a lot quicker to diagnose when you just look at somebody, because they're usually extremely skinny. Like their bones, you can see everything. With bulimia, since you are throwing up or laxatives or whatever, your body starts retaining water. You're like, so you go through ups and downs. So most people with bulimia are either like their weight that they should be, or some are either overweight. Like I'm overweight. I've always been considered being overweight. Even when I was at my skinniest, I was considered overweight.
So where does the weight come from?
It depends. So a lot of the times when you're bulimic, you're not just eating. So for you, let's say you might have dinner and you have a little bit of rice, a little bit of beans, and some chicken, right? For bulimics, for a lot of the time, it starts with a binging episode. Ooh. So I have been known to eat, like there was a time that I easily ate like 5 cups of pasta, like in one sitting. And I just, after that, it was like, it's a whirlwind. It's like you black out. You don't know until things later, like I'm throwing up. But at the end of the day, you can't throw up all of it.
So you're eating way more. So some of it's still staying in you.
And also from a medical perspective, your body retains liquids. So from the acids and from everything that's going on, it starts retaining liquids. And any little thing that you eat, your body goes into like emergency mode. So any little thing that you eat, it will retain it instead of processing it like somebody with a regular metabolism, because your body's like, well, I don't know when you're going to feed me again, or when you're going to feed me and take it out. So it holds it. So that's where the fluctuation in weight comes from.
Oh, gotcha. Wow. Now, there's something that you touched on earlier that you said you didn't know anyone that had gone through it, and you grew up in Puerto Rico, because I really thought maybe you had seen someone do it, or someone taught you how to do it, or anything like this. And we were talking before we started recording. Dex was trying to find some information about bulimia, and she couldn't find anything in our culture, right? Whether it's in the Black community or in the Hispanic community, we couldn't figure out more cases of it. And I'm thinking it's because it's not really talked about.
No, it's really taboo. Actually, like when I fast forward to when I actually talked to my family, came out with it and everything, and we were looking at treatment centers for me. There's different kinds of treatment centers. There's partial hospitalization up to like actually being hospitalized. At that point, they wanted to hospitalize me. But since I was in Florida, my dad wanted to see if there was any place in Puerto Rico that I could go to. And it was crazy to know that in the entire island, there was absolutely nothing with eating disorder. So that's definitely not one, like not even like therapists. Usually you should go to a therapist that focuses on eating disorders. Right. There wasn't like, because I remember after that, my dad was trying to put together a team of people to help others in Puerto Rico, but the psychologists there, the therapists, they weren't educated, like they didn't know about how to treat an eating disorder because it's never talked about.
And that's insane, because myself being from there, you see people overweight and with awful health because of what we eat. We, in my family, we didn't eat vegetables.
Really?
No, the vegetable was the fried plantain.
Oh, wow.
That's what there's nothing green. There might be a salad and they put mayo ketchup on it.
Oh,
that's your dressing.
That's like not even healthy
at all. The salad is gone. The ketchup is covered in mayo ketchup. I mean, the tomato is covered in mayo ketchup. So there was never any vegetables. And again, my father was overweight. My mom has struggled with her cholesterol. Like all my family, there's cholesterol, there's diabetes. And it's very prominent in the Hispanic community. And to think that there is not one you can go to, that's insane to me. Mm-hmm. So no one can come out and talk about it. And even if they do, they can't get the help.
Right. They really can't. Like, the people that then did suffer from eating disorders or anything like that came out and needed treatment, they were sent to the States.
Even I like to watch, which is probably, well, I guess it's our eating disorders as well, the show My 600-Pound Life.
Yeah, that's an eating disorder.
Oh my God, you watch it all the time.
That show, whew, girl.
I can't stop watching it once I start. And when it's a bunch of shows, I stay watching it. And most of them are white. Mm-hmm. There have been a few black, and I'm sure that's because they have to choose like a few.
Diversity.
Right. But you don't see it often. And most of the time it's normal for us. And here, coming like minorities, it's normal for people to be overweight. You big bone. Baby, she's just big bone.
Yeah.
And that's how we...
I was saying, like, another part of it is, like, it's not just that it's not spoke about, right? I feel like in our cultures, like, it's better to be, like, bigger or curvier. So, like, what I did find was people who were on the other end of the spectrum where they were, like, just naturally extremely skinny and were doing things to gain weight, like, whether it's taking weight gaining pills because they wanted to be, quote unquote, like, thick.
They have those?
Yeah, I took those. Yeah. Like, when I was, like, before I had Michaela, I was trying to take those, trying to get thick, girl.
And what is
because I used to like average like 109 pounds like for the longest.
That's
like,
my thigh.
Yeah. It's like this random pill. You never heard, it used to be on TV all the time. They called it booty pill. I'm so embarrassed that I took this thing.
Oh, but wait, I thought this was just to grow your butt.
No, it can't just grow your butt. It grows your whole body. Like
I remember that pill, but I thought it was just to get a donkey.
No, your whole body will get bigger. And it didn't do that for me.
It didn't do
it was fake. For me. Maybe I didn't take it long enough. I probably took it for like a month.
Pills are just placebos. Like they're just sugar pills.
It's not like those give to the penis pills.
Yeah,
you know, so you take those, your penis grows. Yeah, nothing happens. So in our community, you're saying you see people being shamed for being too skinny,
right? I mean, it's not common, but there are these people who are like, you've seen people who are like real thin, like they literally cannot gain weight if they wanted to, and they try to do different things, whether it's eating or taking like those pills and stuff to gain weight. But I really didn't find a lot on like bulimia in the minority community, so that makes me even more happy that you were here sharing your story today.
And it's not, people need to understand that it's okay to come out.
Right.
And say, there's something wrong with me.
Right. So let's talk about that. Let's go back to when you said you finally came out to your family and, you know, told them what happened there? What triggered that? Like, what was your turning point?
So actually, I was at work one day and I started getting really like bad pains in my stomach. And I actually had to be rushed to the hospital to get my appendix taken out.
Oh.
So through that, I didn't even think that anything was wrong with me.
You needed your appendix taken out?
Yeah, but it had nothing. Like I had my appendix ruptured.
So it didn't have anything to do with the bulimia?
No.
Okay.
But what made me realize that I was not okay was that 2 days after my surgery, that I was still in the hospital and all I was eating was Jell-O and mashed potatoes. I was still finding a way to
in the
hospital. Throw up the
Jell-O?
mashed potatoes, throw up the Jell-O, and I actually hurt my surgery.
Oh my gosh.
So once I went through all of that, and after I finally recovered, I had to say something. Like at that point, I think it was my breaking point of being like, Christina, because how many times I would be like, I'm never going to do this ever again. Like I'm not. And I even remember when sometimes some people don't know some of the side effects can be like, as a girl, we can lose our menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I remembered that usually when if my period was a few days later, everything, I literally remember just praying to God and telling him if you give me my period, I won't throw up again.
Oh my God.
Yet I threw up again.
Right.
What did you want your period for? People usually don't want their period.
Because I think she felt like that meant that she actually did have a problem.
Exactly. If you lose your period, that means that there's a whole lot of problems going in down there.
I remember watching a movie back in the day. It was one of those teenage movies, and the girl was bulimic, and I think a car hit her and she died. Mm-hmm. But it was because she looked so good. She was a cheerleader. But they tell you die from the inside.
Inside out, yep.
So on the inside, you're completely rotten, but on the outside, you look perfectly fine.
So, on the outside, unless you look closely. Because for me, a lot of the side effects are I started losing my hair. My hair is extremely thin. There's no way I can, like right now, I'm starting to be able to grow it, but I had never. So my hair was super thin. My nails, I would just do like I can just touch them and they would break. My knuckles,
you didn't have nutrients.
My knuckles would just be like open wounds a lot of the time.
But why the knuckles?
So the knuckles, when you throw up, the acid comes out.
Oh, so it runs on your knuckles? What about your teeth?
Oh God, don't even get me started on my teeth. I don't have time for that. Like my teeth are so effed up.
Really?
Like I've had crowns. I've had teeth pulled out. I currently am now waiting to get like an implant on one. Like it rots your teeth to hell. And it's expensive and it's painful. Your cheeks swell up all the time. So unless you're really paying attention, but there's a lot of physical indications of somebody that has an eating disorder.
So did you finally tell, or someone was like, okay, this is it?
No. So I decided to tell. And the first person I told was my brother because he lived with me at the time. And so, of course, his first reaction is, we need to tell Dad.
And you're how old at this time?
And I'm 24 at that time.
Okay.
So I don't even know why. So I knew I had to tell my dad, but I couldn't find the words to call him. Mm-hmm. So my father actually found out through an email that I sent him.
An email?
Yes.
Now you're Puerto Rican. How did he take that you didn't just come up to his face and tell him?
So I remember sending the email and literally texting him and being like, Dad, I sent you an email. I need you to read it. And literally just sitting, waiting for like 2 hours.
How long was the email?
No, but he was reading it, and then for him, it's like, he's a clinical psychologist. All the things I'm sure that went through his brain is like, how could I not know this of my own daughter?
Makes sense.
Like, once I told him, he goes, the writing was on the wall all along. Like, now that I see all of this. So it took him a while to digest it and finally be able to call me so we could talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So
that's 2 hours of you probably like sitting there.
Oh, child. It was hard, but it was even harder talking to him on the phone.
Why did you feel it was time for you to come out?
Because, like I said, when I realized that I threw up Jell-O and mashed potatoes, like that first of all, that is hard as fuck to throw up. Like, that's not something that's easy. And I was hurting myself so bad that I even I effed up my own surgery. That was the point that I was like, clearly I can't do this by myself.
So you hit rock bottom yourself.
Yes. And that doesn't usually happen when people start treatment. Usually a family member or somebody makes
because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like,
intervention, exactly.
They do it till, I mean, really you can't do it anymore. And it's like, you chose yourself. I want to stop.
Yeah, because at that point, like, it literally took over my life. Like, now I look back and I don't know how I managed to have a career and go to school and do all of it, because literally my life consisted of, every time we would go out, I would need to know, okay, who's going? Where are we going? How can I plot to
go to the bathroom?
Separate myself to go to the restroom so they won't know. Okay, if I'm doing this, the nearest restroom is here. There's a time frame of 5 minutes, so that means calories are going to stay in my body. Like, there's some effed up shit that go in your brain when you're doing this.
Oh, you have to time it.
Oh, but in your brain, that's literally what it does, because when you're eating, your body digests food. So the longer you take, the more your body has digested that food.
And the less you're going to be
able to throw up. And the less you're going to be able to throw up. Or in my brain, the more it's going to stay in, the more it's going to stay in my brain, in my body.
I'm sitting here with my mouth open because I sit here and eat. And I don't think about what I ate until the next day when I'm only like, shit, I can't put this bathing suit on. And you're thinking about it while you're eating. So you're not enjoying your food.
You're not enjoying anything. Like, when I was at the worst of my eating disorder, there's moments of my life that I don't really remember because it was all shadowed by this bitch in my brain, which, by the way, her name is Olivia. We can talk later about that. And she is telling me, like, you have to throw up. You have to throw up. So everything from where are we going to eat? If I'm having breakfast at home, do I have enough time to go out of the house? If I had family over, you don't know how many times people were over and it was like, okay, Christina, don't shower before dinner because you're gonna shower after dinner, so
that'll
you can
be your
turn on
excuse
the
to go to the
music, so
bathroom.
you can put on the
That's a
shower,
good one.
and you can throw up so nobody can hear anything.
Wow. So it was literally like controlling your life.
Oh, 100%.
So what does recovery look like for a bulimic? So I know you said that you're still in recovery. It's like a constant thing that you're going to be working on. But when you initially started, like what did that look like?
So as everything in life, it looks different for different people. For me, when they gave me, like they evaluated me, their suggestion was that I go to an inpatient facility.
That means it's pretty serious, right?
Which was, yeah. So in the DSM-4, which is the book of, like a psychology book that teaches all of the different illnesses, the definition of bulimia is if you have been throwing up, like overly exercising or finding ways to do that at least once a week for a period of 3 months. By the time I went there, I had been doing it for a period of like 7 years, at least 12 times a day.
Jesus.
Wow.
So your insides were just
I'm just saying a prayer right now, thanking God that you're even here. That's crazy.
So, I'm getting like chills talking about this.
Oh my God.
So for me, they did strongly suggest that I'd be hospitalized. However, at that moment, Orlando did not have an inpatient facility. So
by the time you guys live here?
Yeah, I've lived here since I was 21.
Okay.
So I lived here by the time I was already, like, I had a good management job with Disney. Like, I had my career. But all of this was happening behind closed doors. And if you would have met me or seen me, like, I was the most confident girl. Like, I knew my shit. I knew what I was doing. I thought I was hot as hell. That's why when I finally started talking and telling some friends, they were like, what?
Right.
Like, how? This doesn't even make sense. But, so anyways, so I was supposed to, they were looking for inpatient facilities.
Right.
None here. So they looked into me going to Chicago, me going to Miami, me going to different places. But I was like, I don't want to. So I told my dad, I'm like, please give me the chance to prove that I can do this on my own. Or not on my own, but not being hospitalized. So Orlando did have a partial hospitalization treatment center. And that was my first time in treatment.
So it's like outpatient?
It was outpatient. It was 4 days a week, 6 hours a day.
And what do you do there? Just sit there?
So
like group therapy or...
So... yes, essentially you sit there and not throw up. It's essentially group therapy. They divided the first hour you're doing group therapy, then you have to have a snack there, then you do a bunch of other things.
You have to have a snack and keep
dinner.
it in.
And dinner. Mm-hmm. So like if I had, because I did the evening PHP. So it literally, it's like we would have dinner, all of us around the dinner table. We couldn't go to the bathroom until we finished for the night. So like if we had to go to the bathroom, you could go to the bathroom before dinner. Then afterwards, if you had to go to the bathroom, somebody had to accompany you and stay with you to make sure you weren't doing anything you weren't supposed to be doing.
Now, while you were there, what is the place called here in Orlando?
It's Blue Horizons.
Okay.
They were fabulous. They're still open, and now thankfully there's a few other locations, and they actually have, I think it's called the Renfrew Center, which is amazing, I hear, and they have a hospitalization location.
So now they have inpatient.
Yes, they have inpatient.
So were you the only minority there?
Yes. In my first round, yes.
The only one. So you couldn't even talk to people and feel like you had things in common with them because you probably didn't.
Yeah, like
in your upbringing.
Like and it's weird because you do make those close connections. I have a few friends that from my first treatment I still talk to them. I was at one of the girls' wedding a few months ago. Yeah. So because you have this connection.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I could see how like you could be so different, but this huge thing in your life is something that you could bond over.
Especially since it's something that's such a secret in your own life that you don't share with your closest friends. You don't share with your family. You don't share, like...
It's an addiction. It's just like she's talking about it. I'm thinking just like we see crackheads and interventions, or just like
it is.
You're addicted to this,
and it is harder to recover, statistically, it is harder to recover from an eating disorder than from any other kind of drug addiction, because a drug, for you to recover, you just eliminate it. I have to eat for the rest of my life. I can't just not eat.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So it's retraining your body and your brain and yourself to have a healthy relationship with food.
Mm-hmm.
When you still have that little devil next to
Olivia,
you that tells
right?
you, yeah, her name's
So
Olivia.
do you hear a voice?
So for me, it's like
It's like an alter ego, like
it's like,
Sasha.
Literally, it's like an alter ego. Like, and it was funny because I had never named her until, funny that I'm here today, because I had never named her until like 2 days ago.
Oh, she's still
here.
I'm looking around. Like, I just looked around like,
Is she here right now?
No, she's not here right now.
Tell her, talk to her. Tell her what the fuck wrong with her.
I said, oh, she.
Turn that voice on. Let me know what she got to say right now. Because I got some words for her.
So
Olivia's okay right now. She's tame.
Does she, when you picture her, does she look like that girl from high school who told you always would be fat?
No, I actually still am friends with the girl that's, well, not friends, but the kind of like, I have her on social media. I have her. And
Does she know that?
You know what the effed up thing is? That I can guarantee you that if I were to tell her right now, you told me this in high school, she would never remember.
We should tell her.
And that's the thing, though. You never know how you impact people sometimes, especially when you're going around being like that. That's
So that wasn't part of like recovery, letting this bitch know.
No,
She tried you.
because when you go into recovery and you start going through therapy and you start really digging deep into the core, the real reason for your eating disorder comes out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it's
not
piece of it.
So I would say
she triggered something. Maybe.
I would say 99% of people with eating disorders, it's not, the issue is not that I want to be skinny, so I'm going to throw up. That's part of it.
Really?
But it's more, it's a control thing. There's things in my life I can't control. I can control what I do to my body in this case. So
I go to therapy. I'm sitting here trying to figure out, what am I trying to
Really?
So
I would have never thought of it that way.
So through treatment, I was diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and ADHD as well. Yeah, I'm a shit show girl. That's why running on crazy. I'm literally running on crazy on a daily basis.
Don't worry, I got all that too.
But you didn't even know you had these other things going on until you went to your therapy for bulimia.
Mm-hmm. Because, well, the depression, it's literally like what came first, the chicken or the egg.
Oh.
Like, it's like, did the depression come first or did the bulimia? Mm-hmm. Because when you're like, eating disorders are hand in hand with depression because of it. You know that, like, if you're really tired, if you haven't slept or if you haven't eaten or anything like that, that your body just starts shutting down. Mm-hmm. Like, if you've had a horrible week at work, you're tired, you don't want to do anything. Imagine doing that for 7 years straight. Mm-hmm. There's days that you just don't want to get out of bed. You just don't want to. So that's why the first time in recovery, it can be tough.
So you relapsed because you said you went more than once.
I relapsed twice.
Is there something that like triggers you when that usually happens, or?
I wish I could answer that.
You don't know?
I'm sure one of the last times that I had, it wasn't a full on relapse, but it was, so in.
How long ago was this?
About 6 months ago.
Oh, we're talking about recent.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I tell you, Livy is right here right now.
Now we give her a nickname.
Tell us about that, though. Like, tell us what that looked like.
So, mentioning prior to, so how I was saying that it stems from a deeper issue.
Right.
So, through that, I also was able to come clean to my family and with other issues. And the biggest one, which they feel it's the core of all of this, was I was actually sexually abused when I was a baby.
I knew you were going to say that.
Did you? I have not thought of that.
Every time I've heard of like anorexia, bulimia, like those, like it, not even just those issues, but a lot of the time it's them for from being molested or raped, and it just comes out in something else.
I didn't even think of it once.
Carla, you said you like my 600-pound wife.
Right.
If you hear their stories, childhood 90% of them have been molested at some point in their lives.
Childhood trauma.
Damn.
And it's that childhood trauma that it gets to a point.
And you were how old when this happened?
Like 6 until I was like 9.
Oh, it was for a long. Okay, so it wasn't once. It was something that happened for a while. And something you didn't have any control over.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
And then so it gets to a point that you're like, well, fuck. If nobody clearly my body's worth shit.
Right.
Or I don't need to really take care of my body.
Right.
So might as well control it in different ways. Now I can finally make it look like I want it to look.
Right.
Which is crazy because as she's saying all this and she's talking about it, about wanting to be smaller, I'm like, well, why not just get surgery? A little lipo,
because
goes a long way.
It's not about wanting to be smaller.
It has never crossed my mind to get surgery.
Yeah. And it's at the core of it. It's not about being skinny.
Right. So now she's saying it's a control
about
thing.
how you're viewing your body and how you're viewing your self-worth.
It's literally when shit hits the fan and there's nothing you can control. You can control this. And it literally, I mean, I've never done drugs, but I'm sure that it's like, so you know how they say like a crackhead, they shoot up, they have this extreme high, and then they crash. That is essentially what
so you have a high.
The high is, so you start with the high of eating, and you eat it all. Then you hit that low of you're worthless, you're fat, why did you eat all of this? You shouldn't have never touched that. Like, all of these things that come to your brain, that's why you're ugly, that's why nobody loves you, that's why you're always going to be alone. So you say, holy crap, what did I do? And then I'm like, wait, I can control this, throw it up.
So I know you say that now, I know you're in a relationship now, but during these years, were you in a relationship?
Oh, girl, too many to count. I was bored crazy.
But so they didn't know?
No. And actually, one of my ex-boyfriends, when he found out afterwards, he was also going to school in psychology. And when I was dating him, I was in one of the worst parts of my eating disorder.
And he had no idea. So
I remember a few years after that talking to him and him finding out and him literally being like, so when you would come visit me, would you throw up in my like bathroom? I'm like, yes. You think you're special?
Any bathroom can get it.
I threw up in my daddy's house. I'm gonna throw up anywhere at this point. Like,
that's insane to me.
Let me ask you this. Let me go back. So you said, like the root issue or the core issue was what happened to you when you were younger. Did you bring that out to your family and even like through therapy in the initial?
No.
Was that
so? Hence 6 months ago relapsing.
Okay. So that's just now coming out.
Well, I did it all in stages. The first person to find out was my brother, because again, he lived with me. So, and I still remember we were at Walmart.
Find out about what? The eating disorder or what happened?
Sexual abuse.
So when you were 24.
Yeah, he found out a little bit after that. Like, I probably was already 25. It was at a Wawa. Literally, we were sitting down and I just couldn't, because through therapy, they were like, it's on your own time, like, but just know you should consider this because it'll be a part of part of healing and all of this. So when I finally told him, he was in shock. So all of this. After him, the next person to find out was my father. That was like a year after. And I didn't tell my dad. My therapist called my dad. Like, she asked me for permission because I knew I wanted to tell him, but I just didn't know how. So I asked her to please tell him for me.
Wow.
So that was then. And I think like a few months later, I told my sister. And the last person to find out 6 months ago was my mom.
Wait a minute. So your entire family kept it from your mom for 5 years?
I threatened all of them.
I think they were letting her do it, which is the right thing to do.
For 5 years.
They did the right thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you wanted, I guess. But Lord, that is a big secret to keep.
And in my family, and we're Puerto Rican, I don't know how my sister kept the secret.
That's why I'm asking. Like, this is the type of shit that we go, we're going to kill someone. So to keep it 5 years from not only your mom, but to not have killed the person, it's insane. Oh, he died.
Yeah.
He or she died. I don't know.
He died.
So, and wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. And so at that point, it was also so a lot of the times what causes a relapse is that's why people usually say, like, through recovery, you will relapse when the truth and the core starts coming out.
So when your mom found
because
out.
that's your defense mechanism. Exactly. So through therapy, through treatment, you're supposed to learn coping mechanisms of how to handle. So instead of throwing up, okay, sit down. So you have a list of coping mechanisms, and little by little, the throwing up, the over-exercising, the taking laxatives starts going lower on the list. But depending on how intense a situation is, that coping mechanism shoots right back up. So when it's something like that, you just go to what you know and what makes you feel safe.
Which is throwing up.
Because for me, it was that. Like, it was the high. Like, nothing felt, and this is going to make me sound so crazy, but nothing felt better to me than the feeling of emptiness right after I threw up.
Because there was nothing in you.
Like, because after a binge, your stomach feels so constricted. Like, you guys, like, if you've had way too much to eat, you know that you're like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. But for me, so not only that, like, plus Olivia in my brain and rushing through to the bathroom, for me, it was kind of like, not only am I throwing up all this food, but I'm throwing up everything that has me with anxiety. And by throwing up, I'm also quieting Olivia.
And you're probably really tired after you do all this.
Oh, 100%. Which then leads to the depression. Because all you want to do is sleep. And all you want to do is curl up in a ball and just do nothing.
I'm sure you probably had too, like, super, really bad throwing up after being dumb drunk. Mm-hmm. It's happened to me. Get too drunk and you're on top of this toilet, like, sleep in the bathroom because you've been throwing up. The next day, you're so tired. And now you're telling me you're doing this 12 times a day.
For 10 years.
That's insane to me. That takes some stamina.
Yeah.
You're strong, but it's like you have to be a strong person, period, to get over it. And to not have let this take over your entire life. Although it did, and it's still part of your life. But you're still here, and you're fighting, and you're able to talk about it. And that thing that shows more strength than whatever it was taking over, you doing whatever you were doing.
Oh, 100%.
So you're like, I'm stronger than that. And you're doing it. And you did it without being impatient.
So what does that look like now? You working through it on a daily basis and, like, learning how to cope and love yourself? Like, what does that look like for you?
It's really hard. The best way I say it is when I was bad in my eating disorder. So being mentally ill did not mean every day was bad. However, being in recovery doesn't mean every day is good. So the voices are fewer and farther between. I'm able to take a step back and understand, like, try to sit down and think logically. And now I also have my support system that I can reach out to. But at times, that's still not
enough.
Yes, the eating disorder voice, Olivia, is hard, like, is stronger and more manipulative. Sorry.
That was Olivia.
She was trying to come out. I didn't let her. Yeah. No, but it's like one of the hardest things for me to realize and to feel is, like, I'm currently in a relationship. I've been in a relationship for 3 years. In these 3 years, I've relapsed twice. And the hardest thing for her is the fact that I don't tell her in the moment. And that is the hardest thing to see, is to see somebody that you love, that they mean everything to you, and that they question if you, like, am I not that good enough for you? Or do you not love me enough to tell me? And it's hard when I've been able to lie to my father's face. I've been able to lie to my mom's face. I've been able to lie to my therapist, my sister.
So like, definitely can lie to her.
It has nothing to do. And it's hard because you're sitting here trying to explain to them, like, I love you. You're my everything. But Olivia is stronger than me at times, and she doesn't let me think.
Now that you're saying you're in a relationship, do you want kids?
Yes, which is one of the reasons why I decided to go into recovery.
Right, because we're talking about how everything is, you're damaged from the inside. Can it stop you from being able to have kids?
Yes, which earlier when I mentioned that I would pray to God to give me my period, that's why. Because if you stop your period, that means something's wrong down there, which means you might have issues with infertility. And that's one of the biggest causes and effects of when you're in an eating disorder. So
are you fertile? Are you good? Have you gotten checked out for all
I
that?
I actually have not, because I am terrified. I have to, because we are getting to that point that my girlfriend and I are talking about marriage and children, and already 2 girls. It's going to be hard enough to have a baby anyway.
Hold on. You have a whole nother uterus now. You don't have to worry about yours. This is perfect. So you shouldn't be too scared, because if anything, she can have it.
But I can see how that would be hard for you knowing that.
And I want to carry. Like, for me, being able to carry and carry my child, like I would be devastated if I couldn't have kids.
Yeah, I understand. We have another option.
Yeah.
But so, are you thinking about going soon? Are you working through those? I'm scared
process? Because and it's, when I think about it logically, it's like, Christina, if you're scared about it, you need to go so you can know and see if there's anything you can do about it.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel more comfortable not knowing than but
so then how does she deal with that part?
It's a vicious cycle.
Like, what? Because she wants to know too, I'm sure, and it's 3 years in, and she wants to know like the future. So how does she cope with that?
She's very supportive, so I think she's letting me do it at my own time. She doesn't want to pressure anything. I think also
that could take 5 years.
Exactly. I think also she worries a lot that anything that she will do
triggers you,
will trigger me and set me back. Mm-hmm. So she's more like, I'm gonna leave you the fuck alone. Yes.
It's very nice of her.
So sweet.
Okay, let's take a quick break and talk about our sponsor, Audible.
So for our most amazing listeners of Shit I'm 30, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. I personally recommend The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. We're reading it, so I want you guys to read it with us. Also, I am obsessed with Gary Vaynerchuk. I just call him like Gary V, what he goes by. His new book just came out, another one, Crush It. It's a new one from his old Crush It book. Why Now is a time to cash in on your passion. So if you guys want to go ahead and get those books for free, go ahead and go to www.audibletrial.com/shitI'm30, and you can go ahead and cop that book real quick and share The Art of Not Giving a Fuck with us, or any other book that you guys want.
Let's get back to the show. So, Christina, every week on our show, we do a little segment called Unsolicited Advice. So we want you to do the honor of giving some unsolicited advice to the folks out there. Anything that you want to share, any message that you want to send.
That's a tough one. I have a lot of unsolicited advice. No, but in the topic that we've been touching on today, this message goes honestly to any girl out there that thinks she's too fat, thinks she's too skinny, thinks she's not worthy. Anything, wants a different nose, wants a boob job, whatever it is. Guys, I'm not saying that getting any surgery is wrong or bad, but just learn to love yourselves first. It's a long journey and it is tough, but once you get to loving yourself, the rest of it is going to be a piece of cake. It's going to be smooth sailing. Just take that moment and just love yourself. Talk to yourself nice in the mirror instead of being like, oh, I don't like this booty, or oh, where's that? Just tell yourself 3 good words every morning to start your day off.
Do you do that?
I love that. I love affirmations.
I wish I did it every day, but I do it as often as I can. And I always carry with me a book that's called The Power of Positive Thinking.
What's it by? Do you know? I'll look it up real quick.
Yes, you can, because I just forgot. But it's a really good book. Mm-hmm. And it's all about shifting our mentality and putting out there that positive energy to receive that positivity back.
I love that. That's definitely something I try to practice, but I think that is wonderful unsolicited advice. I'm low key emotional.
And she'll start crying quick.
So amazing.
I'm surprised.
It takes a lot to speak about it. This is not something that we don't see it. Deck is crying. Water bag.
I was telling Dexty, I'm surprised that I haven't been crying. Like a few times I got the chills and I got a little anxious, but honestly, I want to be that voice for those who suffer in silence.
And you definitely are.
There's a lot of people out there in different kinds of mental illnesses, especially eating disorders. Eating disorders is the number one cause of mental health deaths.
Oh, is it really?
Yes. People die any kind of mental illness. The highest percentage of deaths come from eating disorders.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was looking up, trying to do a little bit of research, I was shocked. I found that 20 million American women suffer from eating disorders. They will experience them at some point in their life, and most of the women, their age range that's affected by it are teenagers, or at least start in their teens. 20 million, that's crazy. That means it's very likely that there's somebody that that's.
So if they have these statistics, how many of them are quiet? How many more millions won't talk about it? How many more of them are in our community who say we don't have anyone to relate to, or we've never seen anyone go through it, or we don't see people like us go through it, so we're not going to talk about it?
Yeah. Another thing that I read when I was looking it up, and I didn't even know this. So when I think about anorexia or bulimia, I think about not eating at all or forcing yourself to throw up, but crash dieting, taking dieting pills, doing those in an unhealthy way, laxatives.
I did that too. Laxatives, and people don't think one of the hardest, one of the easiest ways for people to go into eating disorders is working out way too much. Going to the gym is something that is praised. It's something that is looked at as you're healthy. Oh, you're 2 hours at the gym every day? Damn, you're a boss. How can you do that? And people don't realize that there's people out there. I did it before. I would count calories and I would be like, oh shit, I just ate this and this is 300 calories and I'm around too many people and I can't throw up. Okay, let me work out. This is the amount of minutes I have to do in the treadmill to burn those 300 calories.
Oh yeah.
So wow. It's everywhere around. I don't remember where specifically I got the statistics from. It was during treatment, but 1 in 4 people suffer from some kind of eating disorder, especially women. So all of you definitely, I won't say might have, you definitely have a friend or a neighbor or your sister or whoever it is that is suffering from some sort of eating disorder, and you're not aware of it, and sometimes they're not aware of it either.
Yeah. One thing that we didn't touch on yet, but another thing that I saw when I was trying to research this was how social media has impacted eating disorders and body image disorders. Mm-hmm. The statistic I found was there's a direct correlation between eating disorders and women who spend more time on social media.
Wow. So
not necessarily saying that you're definitely going to have one, but it's a higher possibility.
It is. And it also, you choose who you want to follow. Right. You choose who you want to see when you're scrolling through Instagram, through Facebook. And we are attracted to celebrities and people that, Sports Illustrated models, people, and all that does is make us be like, oh, I wish I had her thighs, or oh, I wish I had her boobs, without even realizing that they're all photoshopped. They're absolutely photoshopped. I saw a video that this person photoshopped a pizza into a woman in a bikini. Photoshop can do anything.
Oh wow! He turned a pizza into a woman.
Literally, if you can Google it, they literally turned this and it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
Photoshop a big butt on you.
Right.
Yeah,
I just think we look at these people and we're always saying body goals. It's we have to get to a point where you love yourself enough and you become your own body goals. Because I even had to do that. I used to follow a bunch of girls and I'd be like, oh, I just want to look. I want to look just like that. I want to have my butt just like that. And then I had to get to a point where it's you know what? Unless you're about to go lay on a doctor's table, you're never going to look like that. So you need to learn to embrace the fact that you got these little dents on your hips. Go to the gym and see if you can do something about it. But if you can't, that's just you, Dex. Just love yourself.
And you are never
going to be Drea. You're never gonna be Joy. Like, you're not. And like, you can appreciate the way someone else looks, but at the same time love yourself as well. And that's like a delicate balance.
It's crazy to me, and we talk about it often, that you think that way. Because to me, not only social media, but it's really hard being your friend. Okay? I'm squared as fuck. Okay, and I constantly call myself SpongeBob. I have zero waist. I have no hips. Those same indentations that you have, I have. So I'm like, if I'm going to the pool with you, or even with Carla, you guys have perfect fucking bodies, and I'm sitting here like, damn, but I'm not as dedicated as you are to go to the gym.
But you know what? It's funny when you like that you say that, because when you look at it, we all have the body and the weight that somebody else wishes they had.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like,
so
she's sitting here saying, like, you have perfect body. I'm like, I do not have a perfect body. But it's like...
And here I am looking like, bitch, I want to look like you in a freaking bikini.
Exactly.
That Coachella outfit that I can't pull off.
But it's taken time to try to be... And I struggle with it every day. And clearly you struggle with it, going to the gym and doing whatever you have to do to try to make sure that you look the way you want to look. Every day I'm sitting here like, maybe I shouldn't eat that. Or you'll text me, I thought you wanted abs. Put the cheese fries down. And I'm just like...
I think there's a healthy balance to it all, though, right? It's not necessarily me saying, like, okay, Carla, you need to have a six-pack, or Carla, you actually do need to get out of that box. Like,
no, it's like, I'm complaining to you 3 times a day, but then I'm eating cheese fries.
Right. And so, like, I'm holding you accountable, right? Like, as my friend, you told me you wanted to look a certain way, so put the cheese fries down. But it's not like, oh, no, you're right. You don't look like me, and this is a bad thing. Like, no, like, you're supposed to look like you, and I'm supposed to look like me, and there's beauty in both of them.
We can't be... I can't look like you said. You can't look like me. But now, because of social media, we're seeing that everybody looks the same. Everyone has the same hips, the same ass, the same boobs. Like, they all look the same. And actually, that'll bring us
to this week's
Shit Talk. We're talking about social media and where it's taking us. And I don't know if you guys follow, it's a fitness guru, Curvy J. So her name is Janelle Butler, and she was on The Doctors on TV, and she had her silicone removed from her butt. Now, what really fucking upset me about this girl, and it's because my cousin's wife actually used to look up to her all the time, and it's like, I want to look like her, and she's doing all these workouts. Why isn't my ass lifting? She's had 3 kids, and she's like, why won't my ass lift, and why won't I do this? And I'm paying for her workouts. But she's not looking like her. And this woman is not telling people, hey, I got illegal ass shots. So she's out here making all this money off of social media and putting up all these pictures with this perfect body. And she got it done. So she had her own body image issues. And my problem with you, Janelle, is the fact that you had girls out here thinking, I need to look like her. Let me go get my body done. They were either going through eating disorders, which now you're telling me it goes hand in hand with what they're seeing on social media. So not eating, being anorexic, being bulimic, taking laxatives, taking diet pills, hurting their hearts. Because I know some of those pills like even screw your heart up. So for her to come out a couple years ago, or I think it's like maybe last year or the year before, because she was having complications from it. So now she gets these illegal shots. She looked great for a while. A couple years later, she's screwed. She's in so much pain. It's like hurting her. She looks terrible. And she goes to these doctors and she makes it to TV to get this work done. And she got lucky that she had all these followers on social media, and she was known, and she was now famous to get these famous doctors to work on her who have the background of it. But what about these girls that don't have that money? What about the people that don't have the social media following? They're not famous. We're just regular people that don't have the access to those type of doctors. And she's out here, now looking perfectly fine, back on social media, back doing her workouts, talking about this, what workout is taking. No. This is what these doctors and all these thousands of dollars have gotten you. So still to this day, she's still saying, oh, look at the difference of working out. No, that's not what it is. You've had now
a bank account.
Correct. Illegal butt shots. Now you had like whatever the heck, how they fixed you for months. You were going through issues and now you look great, but we can't have that. So to me, it's like, look, honey, I wish someone would just delete her Instagram account. You're not an inspiration. To me, you're not inspiring anybody, bro. You're just out here making us think that we need to have as many Instagram followers as you do so we can get our work done by a famous doctor. We can't do that. So most of these girls out here, forget about it. I'm going to stay squared. I will not get. I tell myself I'm not gonna get surgery. I won't. I'll stay with my love handles. Dr. Pham told me while we were here, my love handles aren't going anywhere. He said to me straight up, "You need to
get surgery.
And that's fine. I know when I lose certain weight, I get a little bit slimmer, and I lose weight everywhere else, so my booty might get a little smaller. You know, a little flat.
I mean, you don't want it,
but it's okay. I mean, it's okay. I've accepted my body, and I might complain about it sometimes to Dex, and I'll flood her messages. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stay the way that I am. I'm going to keep trying to love myself and accept myself, because people go through things like you go through, Christina. It's a long life battle now with an eating disorder.
I will have that for the rest of my life. Every day you think about it, every moment, like I said earlier, the voices shut down, like go lower, and you learn how to live with it. But you will always have, like, I know that for the rest of my life, I'm going to struggle with my relationship with food. I work very hard on it, and I've gotten so much better with it. But I'm always gonna have those bad days.
And I'm so proud of you. It's
now you're gonna make me cry.
I'm so proud of you.
I made it the whole show without crying.
Super proud of you. So all of you.
And before we go, Carla, you need to be nicer to me when I'm having my bad days.
I ain't got time for you. If you don't shut the hell, shut up.
See, we all want what we don't have. Like,
I ain't got no time for them. I'm too skinny. Girl, bye. None.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'll be nicer.
Anyway. That's
be nice to each other, girls.
That is our show for today.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It was so nice to meet you, Christina.
Having me.
Yes.
You guys, don't forget to follow Christina on social media. She is running
on crazy _
on Instagram. She is amazing. All of her posts are motivational, talking about, the issues that she's dealing with, promoting body positivity. So she's wonderful. So I'm excited for you guys to follow her if you want more of Christina. And don't forget to follow us at
Shit I'm 30 Podcast on Instagram. And for the podcast itself, we are on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and I'm missing one, Dex.
Google Play.
Google Play, yes.
And y'all need to download a book, damn it.
Yes. Go ahead and download this damn book, audibletrial.com/Shit I'm 30. We're giving you a free book.
I like guys that read. If you DM me a picture of your subscription showing that you use Shit I'm 30, I might respond to your DM.
Ooh, girl.
That is so thoughty. I can't believe she said that.
Shit, it's cool. I'll take it. She's gonna respond. Don't be sending me no books now.
Hold her to that now.
Exactly, right? They're gonna be under our captions. I downloaded a book. Check your DM.
And Carla and I are gonna be like, you better respond.
We might find her boyfriend out of this. So guys that read, go ahead and download that book.